Hey guys, I'm hoping the camera doesn't fall. It's propped up against my laptop. Okay, so I was watching the show Touched, and the latest episode that's on Hulu. I don't know if it's tonight's episode or whatever, but and it was a girl who she does video blogging, and it just kind of reminded me of like why I do this. I don't update as often as I should, but I figure in the crafting blogs, no one really talks about like their frustrations with like their work and like their craft related works, like the troubles they're having with like stuff they're knitting, and it's always like tutorials, and it's always like the finished product. Oh, I made this, or look at how it's made, or this is how you do it. There's never any, oh, I tried this and it didn't work, and I tried to do that and it wasn't working. There are no videos about it doesn't work. It just, it seems like there's always, people make it seem like it's easier than it is. And if you have a knack for it, knitting and crocheting and sewing and scrapbooking and everything else, there's so many other things that I could just keep listing and listing, but those are like the main ones that I see are the most popular. So no one tells you how difficult it can be. No one tells you that knitting scarves and knitting hats and knitting gloves and stuff, like everybody likes them and your business will be popular, and what no one really tells you is that no one's gonna buy from you for at least a year, at least, because hats and scarves and gloves and mittens and cowls and headbands and shawls, and everyone makes them. Everyone makes them. And they're really popular, and the thing you have to do is you have to stay ahead of the crowd. Everyone uses winter colors for winter. Your blues and your grays and your whites. No one uses summer colors. Yellow and red and orange. The stuff that makes you feel warm. And then for shirts, yes, you can make shirts that aren't sweaters when knitting. For shirts and things, for jumpers or whatever. No one makes those in winter colors when you're trying to make a tank top. It's always like tan, black, and like I said, your reds and yellows and oranges and stuff. And so everyone always says, when you start a business, stay ahead of the crowd. And I just said that too. You got to. But when it comes to this sort of thing, you got to kind of blend in. Make the same things, but make it better. Make it cheaper, more cost effective. Get better at what you do so you don't take as long when you do it. When you charge for an item, you are never going to be able to charge what you're worth, ever. Because you can work, 6 months straight on a blanket, but you can't charge $500 for a baby blanket. No one's going to pay $500 for a baby blanket, ever. It's a baby blanket. It's going to get dirty, it's going to get snagged, there's going to get holes in it, the baby's going to throw up and puke and poop and pee on it. Diapers leak, it happens. So it gets difficult, it's hard. And with me, I don't have a job. I'm currently filing for disability, so my job is my knitting, and it's hard when you're new because they don't trust you. People don't trust you. They're not going to buy from you because they don't trust you yet. And the key to doing this is experience. Someone who's been knitting and crocheting or sewing or whatever it is your field is, you're going to get more customers than that person who's been doing it for 4 years or 2 years. I haven't been knitting for very long, I am getting really good at it, but getting good and being good are two different things. I mean, I have years and years and years to get good, and I've had a lot of videos that I've watched, tutorials. I also include links to some of them. When I reference an item I'm making, I always post the video I watched that taught me how to make it. And it's kind of like a catch-22 because, you know, I want to be able to sell these things that I make. So, so if I'm showing people the links to the videos, then they're going to be able to make it too. So then there's going to be more people because then they discover this is popular, so someone's going to buy it. But you know what? There's always going to be a demand for all these things. You know, it's always going to be cold during the winter. Well, depending on your location, it's always going to be cold during the winter. People always wear socks. You know, the fingerless gloves are always popular. I mean, always, even when it's not cold out. I mean, you know, almost 10 years ago, Hot Topic was selling them as a fashion statement. And they weren't warm. They were just made out of cotton and had the rings on them. And, you know, these days it's rainbow. Or, you know, your pride flags, which aren't just rainbow, because each sexuality and transgenderism, they all have their own colors and stuff, and like each one has a different set of colors, and like rainbow's like the general pride, so you know, those are popular these days. So there's always going to be a demand for it, but as I said, it's never going to be easy. So if you're, you know, you stumble upon this and you know, you find something useful, take from this from the fact that, you know, it's not easy, but that doesn't mean you give up. Because if I gave up on my knitting, I would be so bored every day. There'd be nothing for me to do because, you know, I can't work because I'm sick. You know, I have a condition that, and it fell. I have a condition that keeps me from working, and, you know, my knitting and my crocheting keeps me sane. You know, and I thought that I would go into this being able to sell these things on the different stores, you know, Etsy, and you can even sell on DeviantArt now, and eBay, and whatever else you can use, but what it boils down to is trust. You know, if you're brand new, get a DeviantArt account, take great pictures of what you make, and people will take notice. Join groups on there related to what you do, because people need to see what you make. They need to see it, and they need to see it's good, and the more people who comment and favorite and share pictures of your work, the more trust you're going to gain with the community, and the more stuff you're going to sell eventually, and it will take a while. I mean, it's not something that's going to happen right away, and you need to be prepared for that. I mean, you can't just go into this expecting right away to sell, and you might sell right away, and great for you, that would be awesome, but you do need to stay realistic. I mean, I've been knitting for 2 years now, or just a little over, and I have sold maybe 2 things. 2, because someone knew that I knitted and didn't even like buy from my store. They're like, hey, can you make this for me? I'll pay you X amount of dollars for it. And because I needed the money, I took it, and it was well under what it was worth. But you know what? That skill that I had, that I used for making that, they were able to share with someone else. In the beginning, you are going to sell well under what you're worth, but that's how it is. I hope that you gain some useful information from this, and you just don't blow it off and be like, well, I can do it, because I thought I could. Everyone thinks they can, and you may be able to, but it's not always going to be that way. So just be careful what you do, and don't give up. That's the key. Don't ever give up. Don't stop what you're doing. It might not work out today, but 2 days later, a week down the line, whatever it takes, someone will give you a call and be like, can you do this for me? Because if you'd given up, you'd never get that call. So keep a smile on your face, and you know, just keep going. Because if I stopped, if I didn't keep going, then I wouldn't be making this video. So hope you guys have a great day. See you later.